Hey everyone, this is Sam again with the Nixon Offroad crew. We are souping up our Jeep Wrangler again. We are going to be installing our brand new rear fender flares and rear inner liners. We're taking out this OEM stock piece. It's very similar to the front fender, front inner liner installation. There's just a couple little differences. Let's get into it.
We begin at the workbench attaching the two pieces of the rear inner liner. We do recommend that you start with these two attachment points first. It will make the whole thing a little bit easier for you. Now take your time, make sure you get these 3 points perfectly aligned. Then we just have to screw in 5 more points and the rear inner fender is complete. Now make sure you leave it loose. We're actually not going to tighten any of these screws until they're on the Jeep. We start by removing the OEM rear fender and rear inner liner by removing 6 clips, 4 on the bottom and 2 on the top. A tool can be used to help remove these clips, though do keep in mind that some of them are going to require a bit more effort, a bit more time to pop them off. This stock rear fender is going to require some serious effort to get it off, and this is because of these small white clips. They're designed for one-time use, they're easy to get, and there are 13 of them holding the rear fender to the side of the Jeep.
The next step is crucial to installing the rear fender flare to the body of the Jeep. Now what we're going to do is we're going to adjust some of these holes.
Specifically, there are 7 of these screws that will be needed to secure the rear fender to the Jeep.
And we need to get this included rivet in each of them with the threading. Now there are variable ways to do this. The way that we recommend doing it is with this rivet installer tool.
You're going to screw the rivet onto the top of the tool, and then how it works is you retract the handles in, and what it does is it forces power up to crush the rivet and crimp it down onto the bracket, creating a pretty tight hold. The left is the untouched hole and the right is the hole with the new attached rivet nut. So go ahead and get started, and keep in mind that one of the most common errors of this tool is not retracting enough. Sometimes it does require an adjustment and a second or third retraction just to make sure it gets as tight as it can be onto the Jeep. After you're sure it is crimped tightly, unscrew the knob in the back to release the thread and make sure you hit all the fender holes. This is what an untouched OEM Jeep inner liner is going to look like. As you can see, the original holes for the clips are there that we just used to insert the new rivets. Now we can carefully place our rear inner liner, aligning it to the 2 attachment points on top. Have your screws handy because next we have to secure these 3 points. As always, leave the screws loose initially so we can ensure our alignment, and then we'll go ahead and tighten it all down. We're heading to the workbench for a moment to attach this plastic strip to the rear fender flare. This is going to ensure that we have a tight seal between the fender and the Jeep body. This strip can hang a little loose, so be careful when you're attaching the fender to the Jeep. To place the rear fender, it is recommended that you secure these 2 points first, as they are the easiest to access, and this is going to need to be done with 2 people. Just 7 points left to secure for the rear fender flare, and we're home. As always, we're going to leave everything loose so we can adjust afterwards. This is the toughest one to access due to its tight space. Take your time with this one. Keep in mind, if you damage the thread, you'll have to start over with the rivet. Give yourself plenty of time to check everything over, make your final adjustments afterwards, and then you can tighten on down.
And that completes the installation of our rear fender flare and our rear inner liner. Now it's going to take the average person about 2 hours to do both components on both sides. Take your time. It is recommended this time you have 2 people because there's nothing to hold the fender when you're installing it. You will need 2 people for that part of it. Take your time and have fun. Cheers.